Yeah, so the highlights for 2017, I think the big thing for me is for the second half of the year, it was my full period, if you like, in charge. I really liked how the teams focused on the priorities we set. I really liked the fact that we delivered to the board expectation in our operating performance. And I like the fact we're now focusing more on KPIs and detailed measurement criteria in the business. I think that's really important for us going forward. So a positive 2017, the business units generally went forward, and there's lots of excellent detail we can go through on those. Sure, at the divisional level, so let's start with the largest segment. So we've got primary, community and acute. So on the primary side, we moved forward another 1% in market share in the year. So we continue to have our number one leadership position. That was very pleasing, and we continue to execute well there. In the community space, we moved into number 2 position in that market, moved up 1% share as well. And that's a really important market to us going forward. There's lots of new care models, and we're very focused on how we can work with our customers and users to adapt to that. And the third piece is acute, which we had a tough first half, which we talked about the first half results. But in the second half, we really focused well on execution. We did take some cost out in that business, but also got some momentum behind it. So a good second half performance in acute. Moving across to the patient business. So as you know, it's an infrastructure investment period. So we talked about that again at the half. We continue to execute well. So our new website is up and running. I'm delighted with that. Increased quality and content, and also in the information architecture, so making it easier to search and information on the site. So that was excellent work from the team. The second part is our new patient access app. So that is all completed. We're through 4 of the approvals, and we've got 1 final approval from NHS before we can release that. So that's very exciting for us as we move forward. Community pharmacy continues to be strong. So again, we move forward in revenue and profit terms, which was great. And the rollout of our new ProScript software has gone very, very well. So customers are very happy with it, and that continues on track to budget. So delighted with progress there. And then finally, in our final segment is specialist in care. So the good news is that the specialist contract we thought was at risk isn't at risk now. So that tender has gone away. So we continue to have the number 1 position there, which is very pleasing. The second thing is we managed to get into profit for the business. And as you know, we had a major improvement plan going on there. So the ladies that are running that business are doing a brilliant job for us, and we're delighted to get that back into the black. So overall, we move forward across the range of businesses we have, and I was pleased with the operational execution in the second half. Although more to do in that, I'd like to raise the standards again in 2018, but positive performance of the business units across the piece. Yeah, so this is the negative we had in the results. So as you'll see from the financial results, we've had to take a special charge against this item of 11.2 million. So this was a downside and a surprise actually from when we got to the end of the year. As I went off to Christmas, I was very pleased that we'd performed to the board's expectation. However, as part of an operational review that I was undertaking personally, I found this issue after looking at some of the detailed performance metrics in our support area. And unfortunately, we've been misleading our major customer in reporting and actually the work we do under service level. So as soon as we found that item, we immediately went to notify the NHS to let them know we'd found a problem, but we couldn't quantify it. And then, of course, we had to move quickly to notify the market to make sure that people could understand the potential size of this issue. So that was the concern. And the good news is we found it, although not good news. It's a one-time issue, we believe, and we've been looking at everything else in our business to make sure that the service levels are well managed. So we continue to do that, but we don't think there's any other issue. So the dialogue with senior NHS officials has been very constructive and very open, and we're pleased with progress. They're going through their due diligence, which is exactly what you'd expect. And the last report I had over the last couple of days, about 70% through their performance review. And then we'll be sitting down to discuss how we resolve the issue. So we're making good progress. The customer has been really great to deal with. They've been very open and they appreciate our approach, which is transparent. But obviously they weren't pleased, nor were we, of the issue. So working closely with them, looking to resolve the issue, and of course we'll update the market as soon as we've got that done. Sure, so the financial impact for the service level issue comes into really 2 buckets. So the first bucket is what's the potential fine? and also what's the remedial action to bring the software back to where it should have been. And we've put out a figure on that of 11.2 million. So that should deal with what we believe are the immediate issues, if you like, with the customer. Although that number still to be confirmed, and as I mentioned earlier on, the NHS has to go through its own due diligence process. But we think that estimate is appropriate at this point based on what we know. So that would be the first thing. The second thing is impact on the operating expenditure. So this year there's around £3 million associated with getting up to speed with dealing with service levels as they stand today, and all the things associated with that is support and development. And then next year we believe the number will be 2 million, so in 2019, and by 2020 we'll be back to regular, so that go back to a zero, because we'll improve performance, we'll improve systems, we'll improve also the overall architecture as part of our upgrades. So that'll mean we'll have reduced costs in 2020. So 3 this year, 2 next year, and then back to regular, if you like, the following year. Okay, so short-term priorities, really, if we think about 2018, there's a number of key projects, and then I talk about business as usual. So on the key projects, the first and most important for the company is IT Futures. So that is the new arrangements with NHS England around GPs. And the current contract is called GP Systems of Choice. So if you like, this is the upgrade to that. We're in dialogue with the NHS at a very senior level to understand their requirements, and then we expect to enter a bid process towards the end of the summer to rebid and retender for that piece of work. And it's a very important piece for us as a business. I believe we're very well positioned, and I've been talking to all the right people to understand what's important to them, and we've aligned our roadmap with their needs. So that's very exciting, and I think we'll do very well here. Although there's no guarantee in any contract, I feel very positive of how we're positioned, and we're working very closely with the NHS team to be aligned as we go into the bid. So that's a very important piece of business for the group, and something I'm personally involved in, as are all of the senior team. The second part to align with that is an upgrade of EMIS Web. So EMIS Web is our clinical management system, which supplies the GPs in England, as an example. We're rolling out in Northern Ireland as well. But the focus for England is EMIS Web and how that aligns with the IT Future, so this new contract for GPs. So that's a big piece of work, and I'm delighted to say we have a new CTO who's joined the group just recently, and he'll be working hand in glove with our senior technical team to make sure we take the best of the current system, and also as we upgrade, we use modern techniques and modern tools to improve the performance of the system to meet the needs of the market. So the care models are changing. We need more flexible infrastructure to do that, and we're very aligned with the NHS England. So that's exciting. The third piece, of course, is the settlement I mentioned earlier. So we need to get that dealt with. And we're on track, and we just need to work through the process. We need to work through at the appropriate speed for our customer. So we're very patient. We'll work with them, and then I'm sure we'll get to a satisfactory conclusion. All indications are that, but again, we've got work to do. So those are 3 big priorities. If you look across the other parts of our business, lots to go at. So community pharmacy I talked about earlier will continue to grow. We're excited about that. In the primary side, we've got a focus on dispensing doctors. So we now have approval to be able to provide solutions to them. So there's a target market that we can go after to give them a solution if you're dispensing your own practice. So that's a great opportunity for us, and one we're moving swiftly on. In the community space, I mentioned how important that is. So we continue to develop our mobile applications across all of the key platforms. And we have won some nice business this year already in community. So we see that again as a strong growth element for us. On the acute business, we continue to move that business forward. I mentioned improved performance under a new management team there. And we expect that to continue this year as well. So we should move well on all those fronts. On specialist and care, we continue with the improvement program. So this is all about operational execution every day, making sure patients are safe, making sure we've got the throughput. And again, we're doing an excellent job there. I'm very pleased about the performance there. And then finally on patient, we continue our investment program, and we expect to start seeing some new revenue in the second half, which when we prove out the pilots to the business model. So 3 big projects, if you like, from a group standard, and then it's executing across all of our regular segments and business units. So a very busy time for us, lots going on, but very positive about how we're going to execute this year. Yeah, so current trading, we've started well this year. So over 90% of revenues to 2017 are already secured. So we've had a strong start where we have clear visibility of the revenue stream for the year. So I'm pleased with that. Now we have to continue to execute as you would normally expect, but we have got a good start to the year and I'm very pleased about that. And that's something that we're tracking every week. So we're very focused on the performance, sales and delivery, and obviously the SLA performance every week. So we've got clear KPIs in that, which is new to the business, and people are responding well to that. So pleased with the start for the year. And in fact, even yesterday, I got news, we won £1 million of business yesterday. So it's incredibly encouraging and something we're very focused on. So just a little snippet, there's always things going on in the business, but I got that news this morning as part of our weekly KPIs. So it shows we're tracking those and we're confident about what we're doing and we're very focused on building the performance in the company. So a good start. In terms of midterm, one of the things that I think is important is we develop the next stage of the growth strategy for the company. Now, right now, our focus is absolutely on execution, on IT features, the EMIS web upgrade and the settlement. But as we go through the year, there'll be more of my personal attention will turn to building the growth plan for the out years, for the next 3 to 5 years. And I think we've got some really nice initiatives we can focus on. And we plan to update the market later in the year with our thoughts and plans as we go through that process.